Welcome, guys. Freaking Wednesday. To be honest with you, we did the thing. Just on the 4 hour, but we did the thing. We closed below 74.4. Big thing. Big thing's gonna happen, and we still gonna aim for some big things eventually before any kind of relief bounce or any kind of break into the highs. But I'm gonna cover that in a second. Let's start where we always start with, and that's my lovely VIX. And we are still in the continuation. We had a massive drop down into the support, and then we are still regaining higher up. We've been even higher, but the small retrace for yesterday on the end of the day, it's still holding us below 20. But this is still upwards movement, right? We all know that. I've been mentioning, aiming about the 15.6 to break for any kind of reversal, and that's not happening right now. We are still going higher on the VIX, so the volatility kicks still in. That means there is much more down movement that we even think about it, or we even can manage to see it so far. But if we start to break anything below, then we could see potential reversal on it. So far, still not there yet, right? We are still grinding. I don't say we're gonna have a big spike or big volume increase or sorry, volatility increase, but still 20 is the line in the sand for me. If you're gonna reach that, regain that, then that's gonna be definitely going higher up into the 25 or 23.4 ish, this whole block over here eventually. So that's the aim for now. So yeah, let's see how the week gonna end. And yeah, we have some economic numbers coming in. Formal unemployment, yeah, like obviously like they are quite low. That's fine, but yeah, nothing specific in my book for any bigger spikes. Now, like I mentioned last week as well, and on Sunday, we are still seeing some up movement on Dixie. So that's the relief bounce of it, of the low that it settled quite heavily, went into the downside. I mean, our lovely clown wanted to have a cheap one. So there it is. And we are aiming to get back at the resistance. So the first aim that we're going to have is 98.5. That's a resistance pocket. If we're going to get above this hip over here, start to get into that resistance, we might see potential any movement into the lows. Don't say we're going to break again the low, but any lows. And then let's see if we're going to break it above it, right? So overall, still Dixie up, it's still no go for the market, right? If we're gonna correlate like that, it's not specific like 101, but still something to consider. But the dollar goes higher and the market goes down, right? Because right now in the total 3 market, if you see, we are down 2.1%. That said, we did settle freaking lower low from the low of December the 18th. That's the first lower low of that. We broke the whole market to the downside. And look where we get the level that I've been mentioning for 744 billion. Boy, we start losing quite a lot of money from the market already, right? From the top, 1.1 trillion, sorry, 1.2 almost trillion, and we back at 7.5 billion. So that's a significant quite amount that went off the market, not into the market. So keep in mind, we're getting in the bigger support, but that's a bit the last of the support that we are aiming right now. Anything below that, then definitely bear market's gonna be in freaking end side for us. Right, so not sure if we're gonna get back at 300. I don't think that's the place that we should end up in the bear market. I mean, could be surprised about that, but something in between the 5 and the 400 billion, yeah, I probably could see that, right? And forming this structure over here, potential any bigger movement. So if we're gonna get in the bear market, that's quote unquote not right now happening. I don't want to scare people, but doing stuff over here, same what we had over here, this structure, forming that support, but will hold us eventually to go higher up. We could end up even higher than the 1.5 trillion in the next cycle run, right? That's, I think, a little bit obvious just because we do grow as a market, right? So you could see potentially the same stuff happening over here, right? That was support, went higher, we came back at 3 point as lowest or even 2.8 as the lowest low, and then we just start to pick up from it. So overall, the whole market, where are we? kind of middling, right? Same thing over here, what we did, we could end up doing exact same thing here. Why? Just because you look at it, we just remove this, switch it off. We could potentially see this kind of here forming, right? So, and then that's going to be the whole stuff that you deal with the bear market. And that's going to be some over here. That's my whole aim. But that's on another side. So far, we did settle a new low on the freaking whole market. So that's quite significant, right? I think we all know what we are dealing with, and we all know what we are still going into it, right? So lower it is till we start to regain. And that's quite easy right now. If you look at the total, regain the 768. So that's the hip, right? And we could potentially see quite a move of 11% into the previous high, right? Something like we did over here. So yeah, that could be the relief bounce. Maybe higher up. We will see if that's going to be end up happening in the future. So far, we just set a new high. And like we're looking right now on the daily chart, if we start to close below right now, then that's the new low of structure, right? And wick as well. We went even lower. So yeah, we continue forming lower low on that one. So yeah, I just want to point that out for you guys. Now, moving on gold, and technically same thing on silver. Silver had a little bit more better structure, in my opinion, of the dump. But if someone gonna say to you that crypto is way too volatile and way too manipulated, then show them this whole move of minus 30% in almost one go, right? And silver as well, that did even 40%. So please, by all means, don't judge by the book. It all happens anyhow and on every single chart. But yeah, still the matter is on gold, we don't want to lose 4.33, let's say. That low, you don't want to lose everything what you're going to settle over here. Could be same what we did all over here. So be aware. Oh, Stefan is here. What happened with the stream bot? I did switch it on, right? Stopped, streamed. Okay, anyhow. So everything, what we did over here, that dump, kind of similar over here, but more extended just because we went way parabolic from the last move. So right now we could go a little bit more into the sideways, something like this, and then just grind your up all higher up. So yeah, same thing, right? We could fill up a little bit the wick, so we could even have a pullback and then start to grind up. Why do we do that? That's all simple, just for the liquidity. Either way, you're gonna do a sideways move or grind a little bit more higher. You trap both ways the liquidity, what you are grabbing on your way up. Simple as that. Same thing what happened over here. So, why? Because people are shorting the shit out of it right now. Right? That's the liquidity that you're gonna grab on your way up. So that's gonna be happening here and here as well, quite heavily. So yeah, but still, structure-wise, this is what matters. 70.8. That's the low that you won't hold. And boy, oh boy, silver did a perfect test of that one. By all means, going lower into that level, right? We could slide a little bit lower or even deeper into the downside, just because those two whole big levels of daily-wise been already tested quite heavily. So now we have a big ass fair value gap above you. If you're gonna fill that or not, that's gonna depend on how we're gonna treat this whole support structure right now. So yeah, that's on the commodities. Not much to say there. And this is well funny to mention. We had a gap that been bigger, but already start to close a little bit in. We didn't close fully yet, so that's still open, and we are still continuing lower. That said, and I want to point that out as well. Be aware, the gaps are there. They don't need to be filled. Okay, they can be. They don't need to. Right? Same thing. What we are doing right now. We are just going lower, and we're leaving the gap for it if we're gonna have that relief bounce area. So yeah, that's something to point out. Now, secondary, last but not least, Bitcoin dominance, quite important in my opinion to watch out for it. We did settle wick high and already a body close higher, right? Like that's obviously we did it. We didn't do it on the same candle, but no matter what, we did close above the whole bearish on the side retest. That said, that level for me, it's gone already. Technically, this is as well already gone because we've been dealing with that stuff already quite heavily. Yes, we are at the resistance of that hip. I've been mentioning that that's going to be a heavy resistance that we're going to meet, and we had really heavy resistance, but we are still grinding into it. Right now, losing the hip of 59.3 and getting back at this support is still support, right? Like I just said, this still could potentially go like that till, and only till we're gonna get back at this area over here, because then we start to break anything below the 58.8, start to get into the support, and maybe we're gonna do the bigger stuff or even going lower, right? So that's what you want, but on the hand side, you need to have that in correlation with the market. That said, you want to dominance decrease, but the market need to increase and the alts as well. Are we doing that? Far from, right? So what are we doing? We're decreasing on every single asset as possible, right? Especially with the dominance. So that's really important. The only thing that you should matter is this or this. Those two doesn't happen, right? If you don't see that back in the charts, then that means one of those two are happening, and none of those two are bueno. I mean, could argue, but that's nothing that you should look at it. Okay, so still up movement, still, or technically continuation, let's say, into the resistance till we start to break below 58, right, into this area again. So watch out for it. Be aware. Moving on the bundle metrics. The most kind of important what I'm looking at daily wise is this stuff. Like I mentioned as well, whole range that we settled over here. And that's the range from the November till January ever. That's been heavily held by longs, and then it started to thin out quite nicely as well. And you see like the shorts are stepping in, and right now you see here on the 29th of January, that dump that we had, or technically pullback, because this is still a pullback in my eyes. That's been heavily switched into the shorts one, and the longs been thin out. So yeah, this is still technically quote unquote free falling, right? Continuation. And you can see as well on the capital flow index, quite significant split. This is done till we're not gonna see it otherwise, right? Still on the oscillator, it's continuation, and I've been mentioning the capital flow, cash flow. It's out already from 25th. So yeah, that's been out. Still not even one single sign of the reversal sign, so that's still continuation. And the one indicator that I start to use as well, that's quite neat and really good to see. Like I've been mentioned as well, over here in October 29, if you remember that day. Not sure if you remember, I've been shorting the shit out of this hip. That was as well the change of the trend on all of the oscillators. From that day, that trend didn't ever even try to change it into the long. We are still and even lower than we begin from that trend. So do something to show you where the trend is. The trend is to the downside. Right here as well. You remember that? Hip what we did over here, right? We all been thinking we're gonna go lower, and then we had that V bottom reversal sign, right? And then the first major move into the upside, we had a trend change into the longs. From that move all the way to all-time high, 1, 2, 3, 4 all-time highs in the row that we had, we've been in uptrend. There we have it. Numbers don't lie. Now, moving on to my favorite one, well, capital flow index. Overall market, I mean, as clear as it is, I've been mentioning that as well. We are down on the market and we are still continuing going lower till this not gonna reach either way half of this way or a mid side. And that means I need to see the VIX and the Dixie down into this trend. Otherwise, this is still continuation, no matter in which direction or of the market you are looking. Sorry, not matter of which market you are looking at, because PEX and silver are still high. Nasdaq start to decrease a little bit into the middle line. SPX as well, quite steady actually, to be honest, for a while. But VIX and Dixie are climbing higher. That's never bueno for any kind of market, right? Depends on commodities. But yeah, we are still going lower. So that's not gonna do one either way higher up movement, then still there is no even think about of relief bounce, in my opinion. And I don't look at it yet. Why? Because then moving on to the charts, what do? Simply said, we still failing. And right now, we are setting a new low on 4-hour close. That's the first time since April the 5th that we settled a 4-hour close below 74.4, right? I hope that's quite clear we are doing right now. So let me just switch off all of those things and move up from higher to lower. Now, my own view of that one, what and how we're gonna do and where do we aim for, is quite simple. The two levels right now that are quite important. Let me set it up for you. Sorry, I didn't have time before the stream. Right now, if you're gonna go by monthly and look what we just did, it's been 5 months down trading, right? This is quite heavily. We didn't do that since, I mean, quite long time ago, right? If you count the way into the bear market, then yeah, that's 3, but the 5 times or 5 months into the downtrend, that's been heavy. Yes, we are in an extended market than we used to be. So yeah, everything what we did over here, we're gonna do it a little bit more longer or bigger, right? Let's say like that. So now, the most important levels that there are on to the downside, I'm not even counting this because this been already done with me a couple weeks ago when we settled this weekly, this monthly close. Now, this is the only two levels. That's the 78.8 or 59.0 are the most important levels to be hold on, regained, or fail from, no matter which way you're gonna go into the market. Why? There is nothing else. I don't care nothing else about in between or anything, only those two. Because technically we could do quite easily one more 7% into the downside, even it's gonna be a wick. Right? Just wick into that, come back and then deal with it something over here. Relief bounce and then deal with it later on. That's fine. I will be quite happy about that. Next to it, if you're gonna go on the weekly, that's the previous hip high that we regained and send us into this high of the market. That's been in October 24-ish. Yeah, 21 October of 2024. So that's been a while that we've been here. We didn't be back for that hip. We didn't even regain that here. We didn't go back in that. So we could see any reaction from that. So that's why I said all of the liquidity, what we're dealing right now, and that's quite leftover, this block, just because we have the gap in between that, this block we could take out and then just do a small grind into sideways, like for a couple weeks or whatever, do something like this stupid, and then do that underside retest and then done, right? Like that could be quite obvious. That could be quite obvious, right? So that's why I said we could deal with that. That's why I'm aiming for the first touch right now or any kind of reaction is 68.6. So now, why the lowest one, 58? That's don't mean we're gonna deal it right now straight ahead. I mean, we could. That's up to the market, but so far I'm aiming for the first step. That's 68.7. The second step is the 59.0. Why? Because that's the low that still is open for a retest and that's the last low from this whole up movement. So from beginning of the bull market, let's say the bull market started, just for a sake, in 2023 October, right? That high what we settled over here, that was the start of the bull market. Or you can argue with me even, stretch it to January, I don't care. Anyhow, from this hip, what we did, right? Because that's the low that you settled, as low as we went, and that was the high, and the regain of that high for me was the start of the bull market. So after that high, right, that was the first high that we had. That was the first high that we had. That's the 180% that we did on the move, and the retrace what we settled was the low of the 49. For me, that's the most important low because we technically didn't test this low. All that wick over here, the rebounds what we had from it, like technically over here, that's barely like got into that level. It depends on the exchange as well. On Binance, we hit it like couple bucks above it. Anyhow, I still want that level to be touched, right? Because then and only then the slide into the bear market will be much more easier like that. Right? So obviously we're gonna do this, or we could do here and then add one more wick, and we are done, right? Like the obvious bigger stuff. Always, like if I look at it, this looks like, yeah, no matter what. So that's why I said the first level to matter, 68.8, and then the next one is 58.9. We need to break that, and eventually that could be quite easily break that stuff, and you're gonna go send it into the bear market. Now the bear market for me, don't think we're gonna reach 31, right? But potentially we could front run it as we did it over here. Same thing, and same thing could happen over here. So for me, bear market is this 40k till 30, let's say 35, right? That's the bear market with one small wick into the downside. That's the bear market for me. To be honest with you, that's not that far away. That's 40%, minus 40%. Comparing from the high that we already settled, we did that retracement, right? People found this scary. So to be clear with you, this is nothing. Only thing what we did from the high into the low, that's to use pullback. Minus 40% of Bitcoin, that's just the pullback. After this low, everything what we're going to do, on top of that 40%, then and only thing you could be scared of it. This is just a pullback. As the structure goes, right, this is just a pullback. No matter what. If I will not show you the number or the name of the time frame, this just will be a pullback, and you technically would long any support of this or the previous one, right? I hope that makes sense, or technically like you understand what I mean. In my head, it does. So that's why I always say all of that what we did, yes, it sounds bad or it looks bad or whatever, but this is just from the high to the low. That's done. It's just a pullback, nothing else. And same thing, like people been surprised that about this 69 weeks. Sorry, how much was it? What did I say? Weeks or days? Was I think that was days. Yeah, days. Sorry, weeks. So that's been heavy here almost. Yeah, 69 days. All of that stuff, what we dealt with it, that was for nothing because we wrecked them all in 2-3 candles. Technically 2, because the third one is still settling. So understand the power of grinding, farming the liquidity, right? Even to the upside because we grab the liquidity and then nuke. Same thing. Here, the upside. Here, the upside, right? This is still exact the same. Exact the same. Simple patterns or simple ways of dealing with liquidity. and grinding out of it, like means stack the liquidity over here, ow, and then reverse quite quickly. Don't come back and grab all of them. Easy as that. I think we all remember this over here in our group. But yeah, no matter what, all been done. Not weekly, monthly, all of that will be dealt with here. That's done. Don't care about that anymore. Next step is this, deal with that. It means we still have little liquidity grab. That's really one of the lowest one left, but at the same time, it's one of the oldest one as well. So even they gonna get wrecked, right? All of that stuff been built from all of here or bit of here as well. But yeah, that still could be grabbed. And like we're mentioning, that's my kind of bit stop. Something like here, we can even front run it, wick into it, don't mind, don't matter, don't care. But that's the level that I'm, and you should as well, keep in mind, because that's the first bit stop. After that liquidity, we could go even for a bit sideways, that price action, regain this maybe hip, and then do one more into this. So right, I hope something like this is quite clear for people. And that's going to be your relief bounce, and then maybe like really stretch, we're going to get into the high of 97. That's a stretch in my opinion. So yeah, so far so good. Let me have a look on the, oh, and there is this overlapping blocks. I think there used to be 3 over here. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm spacing it out, but yeah, still overlapping blocks. So that's already support in my book. So that's good. I like that. So that could be the case that we could see any bounce from it or any kind of relief of the market. Yeah, that's one on top of everything. And I don't think we're gonna see something over here. No. And levels wise, as open levels, the only 2 that I'm still interested in kind of taking it seriously are February. That's the only one. And what's the other one? December, not anymore. And I think that's the February one. Yearly, I don't even take seriously anymore, just because we failed that. But that could be, right, as well, potentially way of saying salute. Because the yearly that we had last year, I don't remember where exactly it filled, because that one is gone, right? That took us higher, and the yearly from this year could take us lower. As simple as it gets. Same thing. Funny enough, I mentioned it, and it might even play it out. Let's see. It's going to be funny. February level, right? The February level that we had it over here set up, and it took us this way to go higher. Potentially, that's going to be a stretch, but potentially we could have that as well. This February level, and to get us like that, right? Hey, man can dream. So yeah, but that's the way that I'm looking at it. And let's see, like so far, that February level been quite heavily as a resistance. So by all means, still could play out. Even the yearly, right? We still could grab that and go back to that. But so far, yeah, 4-hour close below, and that's what matters. We wick into the lows, we close already below. Nothing said about that. So far for me, those 2 things are going hand in hand, and the next level is 68.8. Done. So yeah, any questions about that? Or I'm gonna move on to the alts. Let me have a look on the chat. Yeah, no clue why Steven was here, and he reopened the bot, but please always sort out the debt, loads of the cheap crypto, and then send it, and yeah, that's definitely. Oops, you mentioned your girlfriend with. I mentioned my girlfriend? What do you mean? You setting up for a volatile? Question for later. Setting for capital flow. Yeah, okay, yeah, now I get it. Orca, do you mean the volatility suit for the squeeze or for the oscillator? Because I think I run them on the default one. Oscillator, yeah. I don't remember. I think those are the default one. You can play around with them. Like those are like quite open. I found that one quite accurate. In the bigger picture, right? The high time frame. I'm not talking about 4 hour whatever. But like the high time frame, yeah, quite. Speedrun is what I use. I think Adrian used the same. Squeeze, yeah, I do, but that's only for the squeeze strategy if I'm bored of my own strategy. So I'm switching over to squeeze and see if there's potential to play around with it and whatsoever. So yeah, I do use that, but it's not my main one at all. No. Okay, so moving on. Lovely hype. I did mention some things in the altcoin chat, so guys, if you want, by all means, because someone asked, let me do that. Go ahead and have a look if I'm gonna miss some of the those coins. But anyhow, let's move on. Daily. I'm gonna use it on the daily just because it's a quicker one. So hype. Hype is still at resistance, 55-ish area, still at resistance. We did grab the liquidity, so be aware of that. We had a quite like retracement and a shitty close on the daily. No matter what, we still above all of the stuff what we are dealing with. We didn't even retest the weekly daily wise, so that's still potentially the low that you want, need, and really need to hold to go higher up and retest it weekly. So now, even if this is gonna go higher up lately, and that's from the beginning of January, I've been doing exactly the opposite what Bitcoin is doing. So that's not anymore decorrelated. We still going higher. This is still continuation, right? No matter what. Why? Because we didn't fail the low. Till we're gonna fail the low at 30, and you already can see how the buyback is on the daily, and that's quite heavily as well. Knowing and seeing how hype did manage to move us around the market back in the days, or I mean last year. This is still continuation in my book, right? Losing the weekly as easy as it gets. You're gonna get back at the yearly or even the previous weekly, because that's already 2 weeks in a row that we've been going higher up without even aiming or coming back for the weekly. So there is a lot of support below us. So I'm not anymore aiming for below 20. That start to break. But if that start to break and I'm gonna go below 20, then yeah, we're gonna go into the tens. Okay? Just to let you know. So as I've been mentioning, and I think I can show that as well because I hope you all should be already on that. On the capital flow index strategy. So just to show you what I did and how I did it. Is it? God. Here. So hype. Hype. There it is. As I've been saying, it's in my chat. I buy below 25 and below 20. I did. There it is. Minus 60. UDT. Didn't go wrong with that. So that's hype. And it's start to do their thing. Happy to see that. I'm quite heavily on that one as well. So I've been buying every single low without taking profits yet, but that's no means. And we did settle quite big support over here. And right now, same as hype, we had really big spikes. And yes, there is a lot of sell-off because that's been quite grindy, heavily, almost same as Bitcoin to the sideways, like November-wise. So it stacked quite a lot of sell orders. But no matter what, funny enough, better than hype even, we did settle higher high on the daily, right? Not on the wick, I don't care about that, but daily close, still higher. So same, not losing the weekly, and it goes together with hype right now. Exact the same thing, right? All of the weeklies, untested, still support, still can go higher. And I hope it will. Because yeah, mine average on that one, I guess it's going to be around 0.6-ish, somewhere over here. I didn't bother to buy up all of that lows, but I didn't care that much anymore. I'm quite heavily in the bag, so it's fine. Now, injective. Moving on that one. We broke quite significant low on that one, but that's still fine. We're feeling the wick, and there is more structure to it. On a different time frame, I'm using the BitGet one because I'm on there with it. So I would like to see that, but there is much more to it no matter what. Still aiming below the 5-ish. I've been saying that I'm buying the 5 and below 5 spot wise. So yeah, there it is. Every single low. I did scoop up a bit more of it, and same on AVEX. So great stuff. I'm still aiming that, not really feeling the wick, but like settling a support somewhere around here just to be done with it. And then, yeah, let's see if we're going to have any kind of continuation. For me, for now, is the most important 3.6. First high we need to break. Bit of undersigned retest of here, but that's going to be heavy. 4.1, so we're going to deal with some range, definitely. And then break out into this 5.1 and then do maybe a bigger stuff. So whoever. So yeah, that's kind of the aim that I'm looking at on injective. Same thing on AVEX, exact the same thing. We lost a low, that's still fine. I'm buying it up below the 10, as I said, and I'm gonna add up much more heavier below 5 if we're gonna reach that. If not, I'm gonna settle down with the back somewhere over here. Still buying it up on the spot. And that's F and counts as well, exact the same for the capital flow index. Why? You switch it up, then you're gonna see this, right? And already you can see that there is some volume of capital flow into the AVAX. Market is low, AVAX start to pick up, so there is some funds coming in. That's something sustainable. Not yet. If we're gonna keep up with it, then yeah, market will start to reverse or pick up or whatsoever. We'll deal with that. You want the Dixie a little bit lower, and then you're gonna see the whole potential move on it. Because if you're gonna go back at it, like we could see right now, this may be similar to that. One more, bigger, and then send it, right? All can be exact the same. So far, we've been doing this, all of that over here, but at much more heavier, right? So yeah, still the same, right? Still no time to send. But yeah, that starts to get closer than before. Now, secondary, what I want to mention as well, render. I've been quite vocal about that one as well in the Alcon channel. And literally, it came us to the T almost to my level, freaking hell. Like, it got the whole support box that I throw, but then the level, it's a little bit skid, but we still could do one more, right? I've been scooping up a little bit, just a little bit, not the big back yet, but I will add heavier if we're going to get back at 1.3. Right, this is right now the support that I really wanted to hold as heavily as it gets. I'd break that, then that's going to be done, and I'm going to be done with my back or adding to it. And as well, yearly open. I think that's one of the few ones that did a retest the yearly open. But yeah, anyhow, this is what I'm aiming for. At 1.2-ish or 1.3. That's still the aim. And Solana, that's rough to see for Solana, but a little bit on a weekly because that's a little bit better. We're getting into the box that I've been mentioning below the 100. If we're going to get below the 100, that's going to be a quick one. It did retest the February, and now I'm aiming to get around 69. Nice. That's the level that I want to get first at it. And to be honest, hold anything between those two. I would like to see Solana forming a support over here, not coming back for this. If that's going to be the case, that's rough because Solana can do the big ass thing and then let's settle for the bear market and see you like in next cycle whatsoever. But so far, yeah, we've been breaking heavily, right? This all of that been broken and all of that been broken. The only thing what could hold you, what's really a stretch, that's this box over here. So yeah. And Solana need to deal with a lot of stuff to the upside as well. But hey, we've been there. Like the thing is, we've been in this position over here, right? We broke all of that stuff. A little more bigger support, but then yeah, we did send that. So could we do that again? Like, yeah, potentially we could. And then what you're gonna deal with is something like that. Definitely a divergent move, right? Because eventually, yeah, it is because this is the highest point of the oscillator. So you're dealing with the divergence. So then you could set up. Sorry, that's really way too high, too low. Settle some over here and then go again. Do this. So yeah. But like I said, everything below 10 or below 100 should be a buy. Not in once, but like DCA into it, right? And you should always DCA into your spot backs. And if you definitely see in like a bigger moves coming or already settling, then you just short against the bags, like I'm doing with mine bags. All of those bags I've been shorting against it. And every profit that I take, I put back into my spot bag. That's how I deal with my spot bags. I take it seriously. So what does that mean? Is if I'm buying some over here, I'm opening up exact the same amount on 1x short. And that profit, where I end up, put back into the bag. So in the meanwhile, I'm putting my average buy lower, making the bag bigger, and technically didn't lose anything because the money that it didn't like draw down on it, I added to it with my short I opened, right? So yeah. It's a system. Like you need to learn. You're not gonna get it in the first place or in the first run, but the system that you should really think about it because yeah, shorting against your back is the best what you can do. And then yeah, your short's gonna be stopped out, but then your back takes it over, right? Like no matter what, you have a small, really, really small loss because it's 1x, and the rest it's all profit, no matter which way you go. But yeah, overall, and I don't think we need to mention this, right? The biggest role of the market and meme coin so ever. We're freaking $90 above the all-time high and went straight into the support. I don't think we need to mention that. And I will freaking meme this shit out till it's not gonna reach the all-time high or even set a proper all-time high above that. I'm gonna meme about it, and I hope it's gonna die. I hope. I'm so done with ETH and all of the bullshit around it. I'm sorry, but that's my own opinion about it. Do it what you want with it. But yeah, that's the thing. Still retracing, still going lower. Nice. Nothing to say about that. So yeah, any longs that you are taking right now, it should be only and only on 1 or 5 minutes as a scalp. Nothing else. Because there is nothing too long. There's nothing that say to you it's gonna be longing. And oh boy, like this is as well like how many times do you need to do this, right? How many times people will learn this? Literally there. And people still don't care about this structure. Right? Because this is the high, this is the high, the high. What are we doing? This is the low, this is the low, this is the low. Next to it. Like you want to see record breaking of break of structures. This is your guy. Oh, a lot of lines. This is your guy of breaking structures to the downside. Record breaking. So far. From the beginning of its existence. Please do another one. Please. And here as well, like even this shitcoin does respect the structure on the side retest. You didn't go higher than that. You didn't regain anything. Done. Yeah. Still, you're not gonna settle a support. Saddle support or goes anything above this high time frame. Do you have any reaction from the weekly? We don't. So yeah, simple as it gets. Let me have it. I found it. Yeah, nice short. Why did you switch over to key stacks? Reason guy, bro. Like really? Okay. Where's the hedge? Where is the catch? I know where it is. So yeah. Anyhow, uh, that's all I guess. Not much to cover on the market. Yeah, there we have it. Mad lag boy. How do you want to do that? Like if there is a lag between it. Yeah, be careful with it. I'm gonna just say be careful with this. It's not the first and not the last one who does that. Believe me. I've been around and they've been like shitloads of them. I've been already like hundreds to them, I guess, on those exchanges with zero fees and with all of those beautiful performance and all of those beautiful things that they tell you. Yeah, you're aiming for only one thing and one thing only. Oh yeah, be careful. Mhm. So much to talk about it. What is this? Can delete that one already. Bitcoin. Boy, oh boy, this did quite a nice round. Back at, I mean, we've been already there from November. At the lows, that high. And here, like, this is, I think I mentioned that as well. I for sure, like this, all of that. No surprise you did this. Like, fuck me. After the first high, they grind the shit out of it. Oh boy. A lot of people been wrecked about from this. Uh, it is. It is. I agree. Multiple exchanges. That's, I think, the best thing what you could do. Wallets, same thing. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Mm, mm. Yeah, it's not much interesting, I guess. Oh, look who start to wake up. Like from the whole fucking list, it's this, like the most fucking shitty and untrustful coin. This freaking meme coin. Like, to be honest with you, perfect buy. But I don't give any damn about that shit. And then the top ones. Here. Look at that. Look at that. Well, well, well. Mm, all right. So yeah, I think that's all from me. Mm. What you guys think? Market. You agree? You need to. What's your opinion? Want to see something else? Good one. Later, I need to jump out. All right. See ya, bait. Have a good one. Have a good one. And to be honest with you, I'm working. I'm not sure yet. I might do another video on capital flow index because, as you can see, I have quite heavy on them. I'm working on some different stuff as well. Some commodities, stocks, special stocks ones, crypto, and forex. So yeah, that's gonna be quite something to go through. But if that works, from this bear market, the next roundup gonna make me shitloads of money. And if everything goes right, might never see me again after that. I want to retire. Technically, I could, but I'm building a house right now, so you can imagine where all the money goes into, right? So, not something cheap. Age is hard, huh? Yeah, oh, definitely. I'm over the age already that I should retire, so yeah. Yep, angle. Yeah, I'm done. Yep, Donzo is doing. Ooh. Oh, she will get. Don't worry, she will get it. I mean, I'm not gonna retire completely from crypto. I'm still gonna be buying some stuff left and right, dealing with. But thing is, I'm don't need to be here, as in community, doing this as well, because right now I have time, but later on I will might not have time, and I want to enjoy as well a bit of the free time and travel, kids. You know how that goes, right? So first house, then the tree, and the kids. Right? That's the kind of lineup. So yeah, gonna be fun. Yeah, want learn as soon and quick as possible because I might not be here. You might not even missed out on anything, but this is what you want. So yeah, anything else, guys? You have some coins, what you are looking at. Any tickers? Give me something. Give me something new or different. What time is it? Time to order some food. Okay, so if not, then by all means, I will see you Sunday. Oh shit, wait, we have some more things to. Yeah, Friday, right? That's 11 one. Next, no, that's next week, Wednesday. Okay. They're coming a little bit more numbers into it. Farm unemployment, that could be something you look at it, but you have as well the core inflation rate, so that could be interesting. Let's see how they're gonna deal with it. So the volatility still comes in, and yeah. Mm. Oh, I'm freaking Stu. He got me hooked up on this troll, and I'm buying with him every single freaking low. So, and we having like uh not really like argue, but more like competition. Who buys more every single time? So yeah, let's see. The troll meeting. Yep. That dude. Like, I'm not taking this any serious, like at all. But like, if it could, like, I said to him, I'm only aiming for a 0.8 done, and I'm done with it. The rest, I don't care. That's freaking what? Ah, that's 3.5. Yeah, 3.5x. Fine. So yeah. Yeah, guys. Oh yeah. By the way, used to mention, if you want a great buy or something freaking good, that's this. There we have it. So anything below now and 0.4, it's a buy in my book. And then you're just expecting it to do at least 2.6 or 3.5x. Oh, there you have it. But you want more, right? Yep, nice poly, nice. Same. Like I've been shorting it as well. Cautiously, but shorting it still. And like after the new low, yeah, I will short because if we could reach the high before and we could break it because that high had been already quite heavily tested. So now after that low, I'm certain we're gonna have one more for it. If not, the trend's gonna break eventually, right? But so far, it's been a nice ride. Perfect what? I didn't bother at all with any logs. Sorry. Shorting the shit out of it and the piss out of it. So yeah. Till it flips. Till it change. So far, is what it is. Alright, boys and girls. Have a good one. Enjoy your week. Stay safe, trade safe, and we'll see you Sunday. Have a good one. Bye bye. Love you all.